Well, hello, everyone. I'm Patricia Raskin, and welcome to Positive Aging, the series that is being presented to you through the Lieutenant Governor's Office in Rhode Island. In this series, we're featuring leaders in Rhode Island who are making a difference for older adults in our state. I want to welcome Lieutenant Governor Sabina Matos and Catherine Taylor, who is the State Director of AARP in Rhode Island. Welcome, Catherine. Welcome, Lieutenant Governor Matos.
Thank you, Patricia. It's great to be on with both of you.
Thank you, Patricia. It's great to be here with you once again, bringing a very interesting topic to our viewers. So thank you.
Thank you. Catherine, tell us about AARP and your role as State Director.
Sure, thank you. So AARP is the country's largest social mission nonprofit, and we are dedicated to empowering people to choose how we live as we age. And so we do that by making sure that people are financially resilient, are healthy, and socially connected. So at the state level, and we have 53 state offices, there are 52 other people like me doing this work. I lead a state team and an incredible core of volunteers that advocates at the State House and at the local level and city and town halls. We have a lot of really excellent programming, and we disseminate a lot of trusted information about how people can, stay healthy, stay connected, and hold on to their hard-earned money.
And you have so much support throughout the state, throughout the country. I mean, it's a huge organization, and the information, as you said, is trusted. It's been researched.
Thank you. And that's what people tell us all the time. And we do have a lot of support. We have 38 million members around the country and 125,000 members right here on Rhode Island. So it's really astonishing the number of people who trust us and who believe we have a lot to offer them.
Yeah, it's great. What does positive aging mean to you personally and professionally? I'll ask you both that question, but Catherine first.
Sure. I'll start with professionally because, it's all about being empowered, right, to choose how we live as we age, meaning that you have the financial wherewithal to make the choices that you want to make, that you are healthy enough to enjoy this incredible, final chapter that we have that can, last 20, 30, 40 years if we're lucky. And that you have people around you, you have support, you have friendship, you have connections. And if you have those things in place, you really, that's positive aging. I heard Joe Coughlin, who's the head of the MIT Age Lab, at a conference in DC, a leadership summit that I went to at AARP, give a talk about kind of how we think about our lifespan that way. And he said we need to think about three things: lunch, light bulbs, and ice cream. So as you think about, it could be retirement, it could not be retirement, but lunch, who are you going to have lunch with every day? That's the social connectedness piece.
Right.
Light bulbs. So if you need to change a light bulb, who do you have in your life and around you to support you to do that kind of thing? And ice cream. So it's a perfect 10 Rhode Island summer day, and you want to get a soft serve. Can you get there? Do you have the transportation support? Can you walk there? Can you drive there? Can you take a bus there? Do you have a family member who can take you? And so if you've got, lunch, light bulb, and ice cream kind of covered, that's positive aging.
Yeah, and it's all support. Everything that you said in there, the word support was strong. Lieutenant Governor Matos.
Yeah.
I agree with that. For me, positive aging, based on the work that I do and the needs that I see in the community, is to make sure that there is a safety net out there that support those individuals that unfortunately didn't have the resources or the income to be able to save money for retirement, right? What is out there for them to support them? And that's part of the work that we kind of work on. In Catherine Taylor is also the vice chair of the Long-Term Care Coordinated Council. And that's the work that we do, making sure that there is a safety net available for those individuals that are aging and that don't have the resources or the wealth to be able to provide for themselves.
Yes. But also, right now in our world, there's a lot of disconnect. There's a lot of social isolation. We hear a lot
Mhm.
about people connecting, gathering. We've lost that kind of, kitchen table, round table where we all sat together. And so it's more important than ever before, particularly for people who are older, who may not have the mobility that they once had. What do you think, Catherine?
Oh, I think that's absolutely true. We began to see that during the pandemic, and when we all then rushed to figure out ways to connect ourselves digitally, which we're doing right now, and that's really important. And AARP Rhode Island has a lot of digital programming, cooking classes and
Yeah.
Tai Chi and gardening classes and tech classes that you can access online, where you learn something, but there's also a community of people that you join when you're doing that. So there's that connection there. But it's also really important whenever possible to get people together in person. And
Yes.
so we do a lot of gathering there too. But a huge component of how AARP operates is through our volunteers. We have so many volunteers doing all kinds of things, from advocating in the State House to running our programming to giving presentations in the community about, things like Medicare and Social Security, which are so complicated, or protecting ourselves from fraud. And that in and of itself, volunteering, whether you're at home, running a Zoom class, or you're at a shred event helping people shred their documents to keep their identity safe, those volunteers are connecting with each other, and they're connecting with the people that they're serving. And my goodness, it adds years to people's lives.
Yeah, so true. Yeah. What's interesting about this, I was going to ask you about the components, the key components to what AARP does, but you really talked a lot about it, and it seems like one of the key things is the volunteers, because they really help to promote what you're doing. And they're volunteers. They want to be there.
They do. They do. They really find meaning in what AARP has to offer. They want to make a difference in their community, and they really can by volunteering with us. Whether it's helping get a law passed, or whether it's making their town or their city an age-friendly community, which we have 9 age-friendly communities in our state right now, and we're growing all the time. It's something as simple as doing a sidewalk walk audit and discovering, this sidewalk that's really impassable for people, and bringing that to the attention of the powers that be in their town and getting that fixed, and then feeling like I did this and my neighbor's life is incredibly better because I did that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And
Talk about,
just
okay.
today, I saw the volunteers from AARP. We had a fair for as part of the long-term care. We're visiting the different senior centers. This time, actually, we were in West Warwick at the West Warwick Library, and the volunteers from AARP were there providing information to the public, to the seniors about the services available to them. So I always enjoy every time that I have the opportunity to be with them. They always participate of these fairs, making sure that they're bringing information to the public.
Yeah.
That's right.
I
They never miss one. They really, really love these fairs and that opportunity.
I remember, I think it was maybe 10 years ago when you had the program Life Reimagined, and there were volunteers that taught that to the community. Life Reimagined was what you do after retirement. And I was really fortunate to be one of the volunteers that led that program. We did it in many of the libraries in Rhode Island, and it was really empowering. It was a great program. I think you still have it online for people, but yeah.
Right. And that was before my time. But we certainly have volunteers out in the community giving presentations now, as I mentioned, on Social Security and Medicare. Fraud, oh my gosh, that is probably our most popular one. People trying to understand the scams that are out there and how to keep themselves safe. We have one preparing to care, because so many of us, again, we have about 125,000 Rhode Islanders that I would say are caregivers of, parents or spouses or adult children with disabilities. And those folks really need a lot of support, understanding what's coming and the resources that are available to them. And we have a new presentation out there right now, decluttering, which I think most of us could really use.
That particularly where so many older adults are downsizing now.
That's
You
right.
know,
That's right.
it's really an emotional experience there of you don't want to give this away. You've had it your whole life. What do you do? So I often give it to family or friends so I know where it lives.
Right. Or you might need it someday. That's another one too.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
look at that honestly.
Yeah. How do you serve the underserved communities in Rhode Island? Anything special that you do there?
So yes, and we our volunteers also are out there, on days of service and working in food pantries and things like that. And a lot of what we do is, through our advocacy, really speaking up for people who have no voice. That's just really important to do. So when we are, for example, right now we're trying to get rid of the state income tax and Social Security. And part of the folks who are getting taxed on their Social Security are folks who claim before they're 67 and take a reduced benefit because they really need the money. They might be working, they might have been unemployed up until 62 when you can first claim it, or they might have an illness, or they might have a very backbreaking job that they just can't do anymore. So they retire early, claim early, take a reduced benefit. And unlike folks who wait to 67 and earn more, they're getting taxed on it. So we're up there at the State House trying to make sure that those folks who really need those funds and are not able to speak for themselves don't have it taxed and are able to keep it for themselves to make sure that they have enough to eat, they can pay their rent, they can keep the lights on.
Yeah, that's great. And so if people have any issues like this, should they be calling the state office and saying, here's my issue, can you help?
So the one thing AARP doesn't really do is direct service. We do advocacy and information and programming. And if they're interested in things like that, they should call us. But if they really want immediate help, and this goes back to the olden days when I was the director of elderly affairs, which is now the Office of Healthy Aging, I would say call the Aging and Disability Resource Center, memorize this number, 462-4444. Any possible question that you could ever have about needs as you're aging, anything from heating assistance to applying for SNAP, which is food benefits, to where could I volunteer? Or even right now, we have a partnership, AARP and United Way 211, which manages and runs the Aging and Disability Resource Center to identify family caregivers who call. And they might be calling on an unrelated issue, but if they're also family caregivers, then they're automatically connected to AARP Family Caregiver Resources, which is really important as well.
Right.
So that's what I would encourage people to do.
Right.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I was going to mention that Catherine Taylor used to be the director of the Department of Elderly Affairs, and now is healthy aging. But I just have to say that if anybody has any need, they can call also the number. If you have any trouble getting through or reaching out to any state agency, always feel free to call my office. I would be glad to make the connections for you. That's also what is so important about the fairs that we're having, because we're bringing the resources to the community. Like today in West Warwick, we had all of the state agencies where they are present. So we had the Office of Healthy Aging, we had the offices of health, and also we had the Department of Human Services was there. So any of those agencies were there, and we're always in contact with them. And you can feel free to reach out to my office also. The number here is 222-2371. So feel free to call here.
Yeah. I think this is also important because I know so many people that just don't realize that they can call these numbers. I had someone yesterday who's a professional come to me, and said to me, I was telling her the work I was doing with positive aging, and she said, "Oh, can I ask you a personal question?" I'm like, she had to whisper this. I said, "Yes." She said, "My mother is really having problems. She started to fall. She's 83 or 84, and she does well. But I really would like somebody to come out to our house and try to teach her how can she prevent falling. What are some things she can do, in terms of mats that are, so that they're slip resistant, or grab bars." And I said, well, and I had a list of resources, so I gave her a list, and I included AARP in that. I included Office of Healthy Aging, but she was so grateful. She said, "I can't tell you how much this means to me. We're really struggling." And I thought, Really? And she's someone who's connected that really didn't realize about all these resources. So that's why we're doing this program, is to let people know no matter what age or stage you are, as you're older, Rhode Island is here for you.
That's right.
Absolutely. And when it comes to, falls prevention, it's important to think about that really comprehensively, which we do at AARP. So, I encourage her to tell her mother to go to aarp.org/RI events and find our weekly free Tai Chi class to take that to help, improve your balance so that you don't fall so much and understand, the things we've advocated for over the years, like the livable homes home modification program run out of the Governor's Commission on Disabilities, which provides matching grants to people who are installing things like grab bars and ramps or alarms for somebody with dementia who wanders. That's all available too. Again, 462-4444, tell you all about that. And going back to what I was saying before about walk audits and sidewalk repair, so many falls. In fact, I tripped on a Providence sidewalk myself last fall and broke my arm in several places and had to have surgery. So, good repair on sidewalks on city streets is another really important thing to make sure that people stay healthy in one piece and maintain their independence. So, again, just always thinking about people like your friend's mother and preparing the rest of us as we head in that direction too.
Catherine, is there a cutoff in terms of when you ask for help? Do you have to have a certain income level or be in a certain level to ask for support or grant money, for example?
So from AARP or in general?
Or just when you call, what you were talking about, there might be support for a grab bar. Could that, who can call and ask for something like that?
Sure. So I would just encourage anybody to call whenever, because different programs have different eligibility, and just find out what's out there for you. If you're older, you're 60 and over, if you have a disability, you would qualify. I would always call and ask. And in terms of who AARP serves, so we serve the 50 plus and their families and their caregivers. We're a membership organization, but people can join at any age because we have things to offer everybody.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
And I love it that as soon as I turned 50, I got my car. So you get a lot of discounts also with it.
Which is great. Which is great. You also have a series, a healthy living series called Virtual Community Center. Talk about that, Catherine.
Sure. So we have a lot of online programming, and in Rhode Island, our AARP Rhode Island has a healthy living virtual series. And as I mentioned, we have a monthly cooking class with Chef Mary Weaver out of Newport, and you get your ingredients list ahead of time in the recipe, and she walks you through how to cook a healthy and delicious meal. We have our Tai Chi, which is now weekly by popular demand. Again, these things, cost money if you want to do them on your own and in person, but we offer them for free. And we also work with Rachel Balaban, who you might both know too.
Yes,
who
I
does
do. I've interviewed her.
Yeah, she's terrific. We are fortunate to have her doing a monthly dance class called Everybody Dance. And we say everybody, we mean everybody. You can take part in that sitting down, and you can be a professional ballerina and you'll still get just as much out of it. So, and we then, in addition to that, work with the Older Adult Technology Service, which is affiliated with AARP, to do a number of online series to get people comfortable with the digital universe. Yeah. Right now, we have a series on staying safe in the digital world. And when that concludes, we'll be doing one on artificial intelligence, so people can get a sense of what that is, how it can be used to serve you and make your life better, and what you really need to watch out for.
Yeah, so important. Lieutenant Governor Matos, you're very much behind this. I mean, your office is supporting this series. Talk about your commitment to all of this, particularly with long-term care and with positive aging.
Yeah. So with the Long-Term Care Coordinated Council, one thing that we notice is a lot of this good information, as you mentioned earlier about your friend, like these resources are available. She didn't know about it. So what we're trying to do is to make sure that we're bringing the information out into the community. And that's why we're taking all of this information out to the different senior centers. We are making sure that people know that the resources are available. There are many resources that the information is not getting to the public. Early on, you were mentioning about the grants opportunity and whether some. My message to everyone is don't tell yourself no. Call and ask. You'll be surprised. There are many programs that you qualify for. Just call and ask. It doesn't cost for you to just call and ask if you qualify. There are many programs that you will qualify, especially here in the state of Rhode Island, that we have such a large aging population. There are resources available for different income levels. So don't tell yourself no. You'll be surprised how many resources are available out there.
Thank you.
100% agree.
Yeah. Catherine, can you speak to the role that AARP plays in federal policy, such as caregiving tax credits or paid leave or long-term care services, and locally as well?
Oh, sure. Thank you. Yes, advocacy is really our bread and butter. As I said, we're a national organization. We have a government affairs division in our headquarters in Washington, D.C. that works to lobby Congress and to ensure that things like Social Security is going to be there for all of us when it's time for us to claim, and for our children and our grandchildren. And to right now, we are fighting for the Credit for Caring Act to give family caregivers a tax credit if they have out of pocket expenses for taking care of a loved one. In fact, the average out of pocket annual expense for a family caregiver of their own money is $7,200. So caregivers really need help with that. So we have a government affairs division that works very closely with members, but we in the state offices, of course, we work with our own delegations. So just last month, I was down in Washington with all of my fellow state directors and all of our volunteer state presidents. We're really fortunate at AARP Rhode Island to have Elizabeth Howlett, who is our former two-term lieutenant governor, as our volunteer state president. The two of us went down. We met with all 4 members of our delegation, and we talked about Social Security, and we talked about family caregiving, and we talked about fraud prevention. And I'm lucky to say that our delegation was really receptive and is really fighting alongside with us on the issues that AARP cares about most. On the state level, we're at the State House. Every time it's in session, our volunteers go in their red shirts every week or two to talk to members of the House and Senate right on the floor and give them, again, trusted information. Here are the real statistics. Here's what's really going on. Here's what the members in your district want to have happen. And here's more information to help you understand the issue better. Last year, we were able to pass a bill it was a very complicated subject. It was to regulate cryptocurrency ATM machines. And everyone's like, what is that?
Right.
So we had to educate everybody what those are. But they look like regular ATM machines, but scammers, will call you up and say, you didn't show up for jury duty, or your grandson just got into a car wreck and needs money, or you didn't pay your toll, and we need $5,000 right now to fix this. And they get you to this heightened state of just upset, and they direct you to take all that money out of your bank account and head down to the local convenience store, grocery store, smoke shop, and feed that money into the crypto ATM where you will never see it again. And that was Rhode Islanders over 50 are being targeted because they're the ones who have life savings, and we're losing millions upon millions of dollars in this scam. So we were able to go up there, explain what was happening to the assembly, who were rightly outraged, and they passed a bill regulating these machines so that people can get warned, can get their money back if they're scammed, and give the state police and local law enforcement the tools they need to help people stay safe.
And I know we're almost at time, but I just wanted to mention, because this just happened recently, I went to my parents' house, and as I'm arriving, both of them are at the door with a young person that is basically having them sign up for an electric company support I have been getting the calls here in my office of people that have signed up for that and end up having a an extra bill and end up paying a lot of money. So our aging population in the state of Rhode Island, our seniors have to be in the lookout because there's so many ways how they're trying to be scammed right now. So there's so many things that happen. And so we all have to be alert and continue to share the communication with them about what's happening out there. You probably just have gotten the text telling you about the DMV, right? We all getting
Every
those
day.
every day. So we have to continue to talk and educate our population about the scams happening.
Yeah.
Right. If I just could jump in there too, because if people take away just one thing from any conversation with me ever, it's, if you're approached unexpectedly, by text generally too, or, or a phone call, but unexpectedly, and someone creates the sense of urgency, like you have to act now, and involves paying money, just hang up, go online or call the real number and make sure that that's a real thing. It's almost never a real thing. It's a scam.
Right. And so that's what you said is one, if it's urgent and it's money. Right. Those two things. Do you think that's the most pressing issue? Do both of you feel that way? The whole thing about being scammed and watching our resources and fraud protection, is that among the most pressing issues that we're facing now?
I'd say it's huge, but it's tied to another larger one. And this is what we're hearing from everybody right now. It's affordability. Things are just too expensive. People haven't been able to afford their housing or to move to something more appropriate for years now. Food has been going up for years now. Now fuel is incredibly expensive. Medicine is expensive. Healthcare is expensive. And you're hearing this from everybody. And if people aren't concerned about themselves personally, they're concerned about their parents or their children. And so the reason that fraud prevention is so important is we want to make sure that people are hanging on to what money they do have. And the older you are, the less able you are to replenish that money if you lose it because you're no longer earning. So that's why fraud prevention is really urgent. But affordability, no matter how you can tackle it, is really the top issue that we see at AARP.
I agree. Yes. This is what I see also.
So, what are some of the resources or programs for older adults that more people should know about? You said a lot of them here, but anything else that you want to make sure we know about and take advantage of in Rhode Island?
So thank you. I really hope that people will come to AARP and explore all that we have to offer. They can come to aarp.org/RI. If they're interested in our events, which again are all free, some online, some in person, and you'll meet the most wonderful people if you come, aarp.org/RI events. And, just Google different things. Our Fraud Watch network is really important. You can learn about the latest frauds, scams. You can join a support group if you've been the victim of one and you're ashamed and you want to learn how it's not your fault. And there's so many people in the same boat. And we would love people to explore joining us and volunteering. And we have so many different ways that people can volunteer. And that's aarp.org/RI volunteers. So I wish people would, really start to understand just the incredibly vast array of things that are available through AARP Rhode Island and AARP nationally.
Thank you so much. Lieutenant Governor Matos, closing thoughts for you.
Well, the one thing I want to remind everyone is that as we age, we want to have fun also, right? And there's a lot of information out there about things, networks that you can join, dance clubs of different social groups that you want to connect, because that's what's going to keep us engaged in and those of individuals that are aging and tend to feel lonely, right? Connect with resources like AARP, because you're going to find that there are ways how you can connect with others, aging population also in the state of Rhode Island. As we age, our life, we still has meaning, and it's still, we want to have fun. So that's all I can say. Make sure that you connect and find out how you can find resources if you have a need, but also how you can have fun as you age also.
Well, and I
I
think
can
that
promise
speaks,
you, you'll have fun with AARP if you join us.
and that really speaks to combating ageism, right? The
Yeah,
whole
Sure.
feeling that, as we're older, we can't do things. This is saying, look, we can really do everything. We may do it differently, but we can do so many things and make such a difference. And we have the wisdom and the experience that we didn't have when we were younger. It's been wonderful to have you both on, and Catherine, your enthusiasm and dedication is contagious. It comes through the airwaves. And
Thank you,
Lieutenant
Patricia.
Governor Matos, thank you for really for supporting this. And when I came to you with this vision, you said, "I love this idea. Let's interview people."
yes.
And
Thank you for doing this.
yeah, yeah, it's really special. And I think for all of us, we're all aging, and we just want to look at what can we do? What are the things we can still do? And there's so many opportunities. And really do check out AARP. And Catherine, just let's give them the website again for AARP.
Sure. AARP.org/RI, AARP.org/RI events, and AARP.org/RI volunteer.
Wow, that covers it. Great. Well, thank you both to Lieutenant Governor Sabina Matos and Catherine Taylor, who is the State Director of AARP. And that wraps up this edition of Positive Aging, Rhode Island. I'm Patricia Raskin, your host. Bye for now. Until next time.